take you to Cincinnati first, where Jamar Chase did not shy away recently from telling reporters exactly what he thought about the Chiefs' defense ahead of their matchup on Sunday.
What stands out about that secondary for the Chiefs?
If I'm being honest, nothing. They just know how to play us. They know the leverages. They know what splits we in. They just know what we gonna do, certain movements. They throw a little double-doubles at us to stop the two best players on the outside, and that's all they do. I mean, it's not really like they got a Jalen Ramsey on these squads, you know what I'm saying? So, not much.
Yeah, that's good.
If I'm being honest, nothing. It's time for a round of Mad Minute. We're going to start with that game. The Bengals taking on the Chiefs. The Chiefs look to clinch the AFC West with a win, which would be their 8th straight division title. Peter, are you watching that nothing secondary for the Chiefs or something else?
They got a good team. Like, L'Jarius Sneed and Trevor, they're the second best defense in the league. Like, they're really good. And they're defensive by half. They don't Jalen Ramsey, all right? Huge game for both teams, obviously. The Bengals season probably in the balance in this one. Going into Arrowhead, a place where they've won before, but different quarterback at play. To me, I'm all eyes on the Chiefs' offense. Can they get this thing going? Yeah. It's been in a rut, and obviously they've lost 3 of their last 5. It's unfamiliar territory, but I'm very curious to see if they can just put up 20, 30 points here, because if they don't, they're not winning the playoffs.
No doubt about it. Jerick McKinnon on IR. Don't know if Pacheco's going to be able to play, so a lot of question marks go there. But I go to Jamar Chase's comments. I wonder, is he going to play with a shoulder? And you just mentioned McDuffie. You mentioned Sneed. They have one of the best secondaries in the NFL. On the other side, the Bengals are giving up the most, I think, 30th and 25-plus yard plays. So they're giving up the big plays. Their secondary on their side. So I want to see how the Chiefs secondary responds. They're going to see this. They're going against those guys. I want to see that matchup all day long.
I would just like to see Travis Kelce. He's a superstar. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer. We need a touchdown. We need some big plays. They need you, Travis. We got to take this to new heights in the offense.
Can I ask the ex-player something here?
Sure.
You know, last year the mayor came out with the scarf and talked about Burrowhead.
Yes.
In a locker room, what resonates more? When someone who has nothing to do with it talks smack, or when a player like Chase comes out and says that?
Oh, player. The mayor didn't know football. For Chase to look at them on film and say, nothing special. You're just like, we haven't watched us. We're second in points per game. We're shutting people down.
I will say, David Njoku blasted our guy Adam Rank last night. So, do you see that? Njoku won. They had to punch a playoff ticket, and Njoku, the star of the Browns, goes, Adam Rank, guy, he sucks. And I'm like, whoa, easy, Chief. Why would you go after Rank? Apparently, Rank had been on against the Browns.
Critical of the Browns.
Yeah, all right.
What does he think about when Rank plays a security guy for a ball as a bar hopper? Right, exactly. I heard that New Heights, by the way. Next, the Patriots face the Bills, and the Bills are the 6th seed in the AFC East, entering Week 16 in the AFC as a whole. Jason, what are you looking for in this game?
The Buffalo Bills, you look at it, the New England Patriots already beat them once, and that was a game we kind of look back on and you're just like, I can't believe they lost that one. But Buffalo's playoff chances, I remember Peter a few weeks ago, it was like that 14%, and now they're sky high. So I want to see how they respond. And I'm looking at Stephon Diggs. He's been kind of quiet throughout this run of theirs. Belichick likes to take away your best players. Is he going to be able to get something going in this game? I'm looking at Stephon Diggs.
Yeah, I'm looking at Belichick. Is he going to be in his bag this game? Like this, he's done a little bit of the spoiler thing. Do you know how much it would just make his month if he could just beat Buffalo and potentially lead to them not making the playoffs? We don't know how much longer you get at Belichick. This might be the end. He has a lot of wins against Buffalo. I think he's going to empty the bag, almost kind of Ernie Adams style. Peter,
Nice.
here, you know, just find some
Kyle, you're having a day. You're in your bag.
This is the last time these Bills fans will see the team, unless the wild card teams all advance and that like a lower seed can play them if the Bills make the playoffs in their building. Last home game, and going into this big Dolphins game, don't take your eye off the ball. Go out there. And I know the Patriots have played well. They've actually fought really hard the last few weeks, and they beat Denver, obviously. Don't lose to the Patriots if we're going to hype you up as this team that's surging.
I saw Bill, 11 losses is the most he's had as a head coach. Right now, they're at 11. They lose this one, he sets another record, most losses in his head coach.
Oh, goodness gracious. That's uncomfortable. Next up, the Raiders take on the Colts. The Colts looking to keep their playoff spot. Kyle, do you go to the team with the head coach who refers to himself in the third person?
I don't.
Oh.
I'm actually going to the Colts.
Okay.
I think you're talking about Antonio Pierce.
Yes.
But I'm going with the Colts. I hope the Colts haven't gone where we can't follow. Sometimes the come-running team is coming down the stretch, and their legs lock up, and they just kind of fall on their face, and you almost made it. It's gone dark the last couple of weeks. The Gardner Minshew story has been swept aside for the Joe Flacco story. Let's see if the Colts can get on their feet. Peter, the scenario is probably pretty complicated for them at this point. You need to break it down.
Colts could still make it.
Yeah.
Colts have a much better way in than the Raiders, who I detailed yesterday need the Chiefs to really lose 2, and they need to win out 2. This Aiden O'Connell story is interesting. You got 2 more weeks to the season unless they make the playoffs, which is a long shot. Is he your starter next year, or are you tearing it down again, and it's Garoppolo back? So you got to make all these decisions. Let's see if Aiden can have a better game than he did last week, where he didn't complete a pass for 3 quarters.
Yeah, I'm looking at AP and the Raiders right now. To your point, they put up 63 points the week before against the Chargers, and they beat the Kansas City Chiefs last week. I want to see how this team continues to perform underneath him, the fire that they play with, everything that they have. Gardner Minshew had some interceptions through one to Jesse Bates last week. To your point, let's see if they can get off the mat and keep this thing going in the 7th spot right now in the playoffs.
Josh Jacobs still hasn't practiced this week. Zamir White had 145 rushing yards last week. An incredible story for that running back. If you want to go take a look, it's fantastic. As we move on to the Steelers and the Seahawks, both teams, they are also fighting for a wild card spot. Peter, I feel like every tee-up is they're fighting.
Yeah, it's fun.
My favorite crew of the Fox guys, I love them all, but obviously, you know, I'm a Kenny Albert, Jonathan Vilma crew.
Sure.
I love that. Those guys are going to be on this one. I mention them all the time. This is the perfect game for them up in Seattle, right up there. And I'll tell you, you just talked about Zamir White, the running back. We talked about James Cook. George Pickens could be the season saver for the Steelers. 195 yards last week. He goes up against this really talented Seahawks team that's been pulling rabbits to their hat. Can they get Pickens going again? Because the Steelers, we wrote them off 3 times this season. Here they are.
You've said many times you don't like Burkhardt.
I'm not a Burkhardt. I'm not an Olsen guy. Bad guys.
That's your right.
That's universally known as bad. No, just kidding. I love those guys.
You just mentioned George Pickens. Kenny Pickett working his way back. Is he going to be available, or is it going to be Mason Rudolph out there at the quarterback position? As much as you talk about George Pickens going off, it was Mason Rudolph who got in, who was throwing the ball up to him and getting that thing going. So do they just continue to go with Mason? Hey, he was a hot hand, performed really well against the Bengals. I want to see Mason Rudolph if that connection still goes if he's the quarterback.
Christmas bonus here. I need the Steelers to play well. You know why? You know what I was doing at my house yesterday? Give me the picture. This is me yesterday for about an hour. That's my son, and that's his TJ Watt Fathead that is in his bedroom. I purchased it for him. I have never applied a Fathead before. It's an incredible product, but those air bubbles are little bastards. You got to get real tight. You got to scrape it with like a debit card. And Calvin worships TJ Watt, and he keeps asking me, "Are the Steelers going to make the playoffs?" Are the Steelers? I'm like, "I don't know, son. They've had quarterback problems. I don't know if they're making the playoffs. I feel like they're going to make the playoffs. I got to peel that thing down and go get like a Myles Garrett one or something. I don't want to do it. Spent a lot of time on it yesterday. Pittsburgh, give us something."
Some of those bubbles are come running bubbles too. You lay it and then you see it. You're like, I gotta go back.
How perfect is it? The Steelers are a bubble team. There's literal bubbles on my son's fathead.
Can I make a suggestion?
Yes.
Yaya Diaby Fathead. I'm telling you, this is the guy.
Can I get one? I mean, is it sold out?
We got to make it work here. Yaya Diaby, Calvin will love it.
Okay, that's great.
He needs many blank walls in this room for all these.
I would rather have a fathead of Peter wearing the Yaya Diaby jersey. Time to wake up, Calvin!
Good morning!
That's terrifying. All right, coming up, 2 of the AFC's
So
best duking out.